Praise the Lord, everyone. This is Pastor Deneshia Leonard, better known as Pastor D. Welcome to On the Wall Ministries live stream. We are grateful that you joined in with us for worship on today. Whether you are watching from near or far, we believe that God has a word and a blessing just for you. Do me a favor. Take this moment to like, share, and invite someone to join in. Go ahead, open up your hearts, lift your expectation, and be prepared for the presence of God. Come on and let's worship together.
If you have your Bibles or your electronic devices, go with me to Romans, the 8th chapter and the 28th verse. Again, that's Romans, the 8th chapter and the 28th verse.
Please stand for the reading of God's word. Romans 8, verse 28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. His word is blessed.
You may be seated. You may be seated. Just let me talk to you. Let me talk to you for a minute. And I promise you it'll get good and we'll take off. But for a few moments in your hearing, I want to preach on the subject, trust the purpose of God. When we learn how to trust the purpose of God, we'll learn how to trust the process of God. My brothers and sisters, there are some things in life that are easy to trust God with. It's easy to trust God when the way is clear. It's easy to trust God when the bills are paid, when the money is flowing, when your job is secure, when your family is doing well. It's easy to trust God. It's easy to trust God when the doctors give you a good report. When the doors are open, we can trust him when the prayers are being answered fast. But what about when the seasons change? We can trust him in our good seasons, but what will you do when the seasons change? What will you do when all of a sudden you experience a shift in your seasons? When tears start falling, when the burden gets heavy, can you trust God when the thing you pray for has not yet happened? When God's hand is moving, but you cannot trace it, can you trust him when you do not understand what he's doing? What about when you cannot understand why God allowed what he allowed? Yes, and in those seasons is when our faith is being tested. Because real faith is not proven in comfort, but real faith is proven in conflict. Real faith is not proven when you have all the answers. Real faith is proven when you have nothing else but God. I hear your Mother Rosemary, I can depend on him. When you are in a place where you're between a rock and a hard place, when all I have is nothing but God, when I'm out of all my resources, when I can't do it on my own, is there anybody in here ever been in a place? But that's where your real faith. It's easy to say I have faith when everything is going on. It's easy for me to sing I have the faith to see the invisible when the sun is shining. But real faith is when the storms of life have occurred. And I came to preach to somebody this afternoon who's been trying to hold on, trying to believe, trying to keep your heart steady, trying to not let the situation pull you apart. I come to talk to you today. I came to tell you, trust the purpose of God. Not just the hand of God, not just the blessings of God, not just trust God when you understand him, not just trust God when you can explain him, not trust God, not just trust him when the outcome is in your favor, but trust the purpose of God when life is confusing, when the burden is heavy, when the answer is delayed, and when all you have is his promise. I'm standing on the promises of God. Because one thing that I have learned walking with God is this: God is always doing more than what we can see. He's working behind the scene. He's arranging what you do not understand. He is preparing what you have not yet walked into. My God is so sovereign, he is blocking what you did not know what was coming. Sometimes God's purpose is working even when life feels painful. And just because the season is painful does not mean the season is pointless. Look at your neighbor for the first time and tell your neighbor it's not pointless. I don't care what you're going through, it's not pointless. Why it's not pointless? Because there's a purpose in this. Whatever the this is in your life, whatever the this is that you are experiencing, I came here as a mouthpiece of God to tell you there is purpose in your this. Only thing you got to do is trust the purpose of God. That's what Jesus had to do. I know on tomorrow they're going to be preaching about Hosanna, Hosanna on Palm Sunday. But that's what Jesus did. He trusts the purpose of God. The purpose wasn't just about him entering into Jerusalem, but the purpose of God was about him to die. And Jesus knew the purpose. Oh, can you trust God with the purpose? The purpose was for him not to get distracted by them saying Hosanna, Hosanna. Because he knew the same folks that was crying Hosanna was going to say crucify. But the purpose of God, he didn't let betrayal stop him. He kept on moving because the purpose was to lead him to the cross. For me and you. For all of y'all want to drop out of rank because somebody talked about you, because somebody offended you. But Jesus knew the purpose of his assignment. He knew he was going to get betrayed. He knew they was going to deny him. He knew that was going to be the pit. He knew about the whip. But there was a purpose in his pain. There was a purpose. Because by his stripes, I just need for you to trust the purpose. Trust God's purpose. What you're going through is not pointless. God is using even the hard places for his glory and for your good. That is why we have got to learn to trust the purpose of God. God's purpose does not depend on your understanding. Romans 8:28 is one of those scriptures that many of us can quote by memory. We know it. We love it. We repeat it. We say it to one another in hard times. And we know that all things work together for the good. But can I serve notice to you? This scripture is often quoted too quickly and too lightly. Paul does not say all things are good, but he says all things work together for good. So that let me know right there's going to be some trouble in my life. That let me know right there's going to be some pain, because he didn't say that all things are. But he said all things are working together for. Yeah, you got some sleepless nights. Yeah, you done shed some tears. Yeah, you done experienced some heartbreak, but it's working. I know you don't understand it, but it's working. It's working for your good. In other words, God is so sovereign, so wise, so mighty, and so faithful that he can take the broken, the painful, the confusing, the unwanted parts of your life and still weave them into his divine purpose. Yeah, he still can use you, you reject. He can take what was meant to wound you and still use it. God knows how to take tears and still make them a testimony. He can take what you never would have chosen and still bring purpose out of it. God knows how to take what the enemy meant it for evil and use it for his glory. That's why as children of God, we cannot live by sight alone. We have to live by faith. Because sight would tell you one thing, but purpose would tell you another. Sight says things are falling apart, but purpose says God is still in control. Sight says this is too painful, but purpose says God is still working. Sight says nothing good can come from this, but purpose says just wait and see what the Lord is going to do. Do I have any faith walkers in here? Just go ahead on and touch somebody near you and tell them, trust the purpose of God. Well, I have 3 points that I want to work today, and I'm going to get out your way real quickly. I'm going to make haste to get out your way, but I got 3 points that I want to work today, and that is God's purpose is greater than your pain. God's purpose is working even when you cannot see it. God's purpose calls for your trust and not your understanding. Well, the clock is ticking, so I better start working. God's purpose is greater than your pain. Let's start right here, because pain has a voice. Pain will talk to you. Pain will lie to you. Pain will tell you that God has forgotten you. Pain will tell you you will never recover, never heal, never smile again, never rise again. And if we are careful, pain will become the loudest voice in the room. But I came to inform you, your pain is real, but your pain is not greater than God's purpose. Well, let me walk through the Bible for a minute. Joseph had a dream. He had a dream from God, but before the dream ever came to pass, he had to go through a pit. He had to go through betrayal. He had to go through slavery. He had to go through false accusations. He had to go through prison. Now, from the outside, it will look as if Joseph's life was falling apart. It will have looked like God's promise has been canceled by pain. But when Joseph got to the other side of the story, he said to his brothers, yet though ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto my good. That word blesses me every time I read it. Joseph did not deny evil. He did not deny the years of pain, but he understood something deeper. God had a purpose bigger than the pain. Church, there are some things meant for your evil in your life, but God is still going to use them for your good. The betrayal hurt, the rejection hurt, the delay hurt, the closed doors hurt. Yeah, the lonely season hurt, but God will use it. Because the purpose of God is greater than the pain of the moment. He wants you to believe. The devil wants you to believe that the pit is the whole story. He wants you to think that prison is the end of the narrative. The devil wants you to mistake the process for final outcome. But the devil is a liar. The hard season of your life is not the whole story. God is still writing your story. Some of us are trying to understand the whole book while we are still in one chapter. You in a chapter that's hurting you right now. You in a chapter that seems like defeat. And the enemy wants you to think that the whole story is that one bad chapter in your life. But I can hear my mentor say, turn the page. It don't end right there, because there's a nightmare on this page. I tell you to trust the purpose of God and turn. There are more pages in my book. Sickness can't defeat. It can't end like this. Woo! I'm getting happy and I got some more to talk about. But God does not finish a story in the middle of the page. He keeps writing until purpose is fulfilled. Do not call yourself defeated when God is still shaping you. Do not call yourself forgotten when God is still forming you. Do not bury the promise in the graveyard of pain. Trust the purpose of God. Trust is not the absence of pain. Trust is the decision to keep believing God in the middle of your pain. I'm hurting, but I believe. I still believe. Because I am a believer. God's purpose is working even when you cannot see it. Now this point is for every person who has ever said, Lord, I'm trying, but I don't see anything happening. Because one of the hardest things in the Christian life is not always suffering. Sometimes the hardest thing is silence. It's hard. Let's be honest up in here. It's hard when you're praying and heaven seems quiet. I'm praying, do you hear me? It's hard when you obey God, but the results have not shown up yet. Can I have some real saints up in here? It's hard when you're doing your best, but all you can see is delay. God's purpose is working even when you cannot see it. Just because you cannot see movement does not mean there's no movement. Just because you cannot hear God speaking does not mean that God has stopped working. Just because the answer is delayed does not mean the promise is dead. God is still working. My dad has a garden And before the seeds break through the ground, something happens in the dark. Before the sun show itself in the morning, dawn is already on the way. Before a baby is born, life is forming where nobody can see it. Before the blessing becomes visible, heaven is already moving. Saints, we must learn how to trust God in our hidden season. Can I say that one more time? You got to learn how to trust God in your hidden seasons. I know y'all like Bible, so let me tell you, David was anointed in private before he wore a crown in public. Moses was shaped in the wilderness before he ever stood before Pharaoh. Jesus spent 30 years in preparation before 3 years of public ministry. God does not waste hidden seasons. He uses them. And some of you in here today, you are in a hidden season right now. You're growing but quietly. You are healing but quietly. You are being strengthened but quietly. You are being prepared but quietly. You are learning how to depend on God but quietly. I come to tell you, do not despise what God is doing in secret. Just because nobody is clapping for you yet. I'm reminded of Esther. Esther did not know when she was brought into the palace that a day was coming when her position will become somebody else's answer. She did not see it all at once. She did not understand every step. But when the crisis came, Mordecai said, "Who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" In other words, what looks like coincidence was really purpose. What looked random was really divine arrangement. What looked like luck was really the hand of God positioning her for a moment she could not see. And I come to tell you, that is how God is working in our lives. He will place you before he explains it. He will prepare you before he reveals it. He will grow you before he uses you. He will position you before he opens the door. So when you cannot see it, trust it anyway. When you can't explain it, trust anyway. Because the absence of visible evidence is not the absence of divine activity. God is still working. What do you mean? He's working in the delay. He's working in the midnight hour. He's working in the midst of the confusion. Working in parts of your life that don't make sense. And since he's working, do not stop praying. Do not stop believing. Do not stop obeying, but trust the purpose of God. God's purpose calls for your trust and not your understanding. We like understanding. We like explanations. We like details. We like to know when, why, how, and how long. But God does not always give explanation before he asks for trust. And that's why we find in Proverbs, the 3rd chapter, the 5th through the 6th verse, that simply says, "Trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding. In all, not some, but in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall," do I have any Bible scholars in here? "And he shall direct Bible does not say understand God with all your heart. It says trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart. Because there will be seasons when understanding will fail you. There will be moments when logic cannot hold you up. There will be nights when the facts do not comfort you. There will be chapters where you cannot figure out what God is doing. And in those times, you do not survive by explanation, but you survive by trust. Because see, trust says, I do not understand it, but I know God is faithful. Trust says, I do not like this season I'm in, but I know God is too wise to make a mistake. Trust says, this is not what I planned for my life, but God's purpose is higher than mine. I come to tell you, my brothers and sisters, God's purpose requires trust. It's one thing to shout over purpose when life is going well. It's another thing to trust God's purpose when you have to walk by faith. Trust means placing your confidence in God's character when you do not understand his methods. That's worth me saying again. Trust me, placing your confidence in God's character when you don't understand his methods. I wish I had some real saints up in here that testify and say, everything that God has done in my life, I really haven't understood it. I ain't understand all of the decisions he's made. I haven't understand all the methods he used. But because I got faith, I trust in the Almighty. I trust in the true and living God. You may not understand why he allowed it. You may not understand why it took so long. You may not understand why that door closed in your face. You may not understand why the answer has not come yet, but you can still trust in who he is. Faith does not require a full explanation. Faith requires confidence in the one who is leading. Abraham had to trust God without knowing where he was going. Noah had to trust God before the rain ever fell. Moses had to trust God with the sea in front of him and Pharaoh behind him. Mary had to trust God carrying a promise she could not fully explain. Paul had to trust God with a thorn that never was removed. And now the same call comes to us. Trust the purpose of God. Trust him in the uncertainty. Trust him in the process. Trust him in the stretching. Trust him in the breaking. Trust him in the making. Trust him when your money is low. Trust him when your heart is tired. Because trust is not passive. Trust is active faith. Trust says, I do not understand it, but I still believe God. I cannot trace his hands, but I know it's hard. I'm hurting, but I will not let go. I will not let go of his hand. Trust says, this season is hard, but God still has a purpose. Is there anybody in here that done been through hell and high water, but you know there is a purpose? When you trust God, when you trust God's purpose, you stop measuring his faithfulness by your comfort. is not what make you comfort. You begin to understand that God is not just trying to make you comfortable. He is trying to make you complete. Sometimes his purpose will stretch you. Sometimes his purpose will correct you. Sometimes his purpose will break pride out of you. Sometimes his purpose will teach you how to surrender. Because God's purpose does not require your full understanding. It requires your surrender. That's why I begin to sing, I surrender. Because God's purpose requires us to surrender. And that is the challenge for church people. Because surrender is not easy. We want God to explain every step before we take it. We want him to guarantee the outcome before we obey. But that is not how faith works. Faith obeys before it knows the details. Faith says before it has all the answers, I believe. Because sometimes the greatest breakthrough is not when the situation changes. Sometimes the greatest breakthrough is when your heart settles in trust. Lord, I don't understand it, but I trust you. Lord, this is painful, but I trust you. Lord, the way is unclear, but I trust you. Lord, your purpose is better than my pain. I came to tell on the wall, trust the purpose of God. God's purpose will not fail you. So keep on trusting him. When you open that bill that you can't pay, keep trusting God. When the diagnosis is still the same, keep trusting God. When your child is acting strange, keep trusting God. When your marriage is still under pressure, keep trusting God. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not until thy own understanding. There will be times your understanding will not help you. There will be seasons your logic cannot carry you. You have to lean on the character of God. You may not understand his methods, but you can trust him. You may not understand his timing, but you can trust his wisdom. You may not understand his pathway, but you can trust his purpose, because God's purpose will never fail. God's purpose cannot fail. It won't. Grab your neighbor by the hand and tell your neighbor, God's purpose will not fail. God's purpose will not fail. People may fail you, mama and daddy may forsake you, but God's purpose will not fail you. Systems may fail you, but God's purpose will not fail you. Your own strength may fail you, but God's purpose will not fail you. Because I heard Isaiah say, the grass withers, the flower fadeth, but the word of our God shall stand forever, 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 ever, forever. If God said it, it shall stand. If God said it, it will stand. If God purposed it, it will come to pass. If God called you, he has not changed his mind. If God start working, he does not need the devil's permission to finish. That is why the enemy fights you so hard in the process. That is why the enemy wants you to give up in the process, because he knows he cannot cancel God's purpose. So he tries to exhaust your trust. He tries to wear you down. He tries to strip you of your praise. He tries to make you question your calling. He tries to make you interpret delay as defeat. But as a child of God, do not let the pressure make you abandon the process. Do not let the pressure make you abandon your assignment. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on in prayer. Hold on in worship. Hold on in obedience. Hold on in faith, because God's purpose will not fail. The same God who kept Noah in the ark, the same God who kept Daniel in the lion's den, the same God who kept the Hebrew boys in the fire is the same God. Is the same God that's gonna keep you. He's keeping you right now. You should have lost your mind, but he's keeping you. You may bend, but you won't break. You may cry, but you will not be destroyed. You may be pressed, but will never leave nor forsake you, because the purpose of God is on your life. Lean on your neighbor and tell your neighbor, I'm still here because of purpose. I'm still here because of purpose. The enemy thought it would take me out. The burden thought it would bury you. The heartbreak thought it would finish you. But the purpose of God kept breathing in your direction. You still here because the purpose kept you. You still here because grace covered you. You still here because mercy held you. You are still here because God is not done with you yet. Trust the purpose of God. Trust him when you don't understand. Trust him when you do understand. Trust him in joy. Trust him in sorrow. Trust him in confusion. Don't let the pain make you bitter. Don't let the delay make you doubtful. Don't let sorrow make you silent. Don't let the process make God. Trust the purpose of God, because God is doing something in you. God is working something through you. God is preparing something for you. And even in this season, the hard season, this stretching season, this weary season is under the hand of a sovereign God. So hold on. Don't you stop praising. Keep showing up. Keep trusting, because if God be for you, He's more than the world against you. If God called you, He will keep you. If God brought you to it, He will bring you through it. If God allowed the process, there is purpose in it. And when you cannot see your way, trust His purpose. When the tears are falling, trust His purpose. When your answer is delayed, keep on. You better do like Daniel. Daniel's word, his house was held up for 21 days. But don't you quit. Keep on trusting the purpose of God. When nights get lonely, I know you're going through some lonely nights. I know you wish you had a man to hold on instead of your pillow. But keep trusting in your lonely nights. Keep trusting Him. I know the nights get long, but trust His purpose. Trust Him when the road get rough, because nobody told you that the road was gonna be easy. But I don't believe. I don't believe. I don't believe He brought you this far to leave you when your heart get hit. Trust Him when people walk away. Trust Him when you cannot see your next step. Trust Him, because He's ordering your steps in His way. He's ordering your steps in His word. Oh, please order my steps. Please order my steps in your word. Keep trusting, because the God that you serve sits high, looks low. He knows the way. He's a way maker, a burden bearer, a heart fixer, a mind regulator, a promise keeper, a comforter in sorrow, a light in darkness, a bridge over troubled water. And I came to tell somebody that what God promised, He will perform. What God started, He will finish. What God ordained, hell cannot cancel. What God purposed, the enemy cannot overturn it. I came to tell somebody, you will make it through this. You will survive this season. You will not be broken by the battle. You will not be buried in the valley. You will not be defeated by pain, because God has a purpose in your process, purpose in your pain, purpose trust the purpose of God through the pain, through the pressure, through the process, through the tears, through the questions, through the storms. I will trust the purpose of God. And if you trust him, he will keep you. If you trust him, he will hold you. If you trust him, he will guide you. If you trust him, he will sustain you. He'll bring you out of your dark place. He'll bring you out of your midnight. He'll bring you out. Just trust him. Trust him when you can't trace him. Trust him when you can't see him. Trust him when you can't feel him. Trust him anyhow. Trust him anyhow. Husband getting on your nerve. Trust him anyhow. Boss getting on your nerve. Trust him anyhow. Kids acting crazy. Trust him anyhow. My bank account is low. Trust him anyhow. I don't have food in my cabinet. Trust him anyhow. My rent is due. Trust him anyhow. The repo man is coming for the car. Trust him. Is there anybody that got a anyhow praise? If you do it, I'm gonna praise you. If you don't, I'm gonna praise you. I'm gonna trust him anyhow. You know why I'm gonna trust him? Because when it's all over, God is gonna turn it around. God is gonna open the closed door. God is gonna make a way out of no way. God is gonna get the glory. He gonna get the glory out of my life. You gonna be able to testify. You gonna look back over your life and say it was hard, but he had purpose. I cried, but he had purpose. And because he had purpose, I made it. Because he had purpose, I'm still here. Because he had purpose, I still have hope. Because he had purpose, I still have joy. Because he had purpose, I still gotta praise. Is there anybody in here that can say, I don't know everything, but I know enough to trust him? Is there anybody in here that can say, he brought me too far to leave me now? Is there anybody in here that can say, he kept me, he held me, I bent, but I did not break, because I was held by the purpose of God. Trust God's purpose. Well, some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. Trust the purpose in your prayer. There is purpose in your wait. There is purpose in your struggle. There is purpose in this season of your life. Hold on. Keep walking by faith. Trust the purpose. He's working. He's shaping. He's preparing. He's arranging. He's getting ready to bring beauty out of your brokenness and purpose out of your pain. Trust the process. I will trust in the Lord. Well, I think I'll go old school right now, because if Pastor Barbara was here, she'll say, I will trust. Help me out, Demetri.
In the Lord. thank you for joining in and watching us on today. I pray that the word encourage your heart and strengthen your faith to continue to move forward in God. Remember to like and share and stay connected. Until we meet again, may the Lord bless you, keep you, and continue to order your steps. I love you.